Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with the Bronco II channel. Today, there she is, and today I'm just going to do a little talking to you about what I have done with all the stuff, or all the things that I have done. There's going to be probably a lot of traffic going by this time of day. But anyway, as you can see, and I'm going to start with the outside. So far what I've done is I've cleaned the headlights and the turn signals here, and taken the grill off, cleaned all of the inside of the grill, the cooler that's up there. I just yesterday found a headlight and lenses for the other side. I happened to be on Craigslist. There was a guy had an '89 Ranger. Went up and looked at it, robbed several parts off of there, got for 35 bucks. A lot of good stuff. I can probably triple my money back on selling some of the stuff I don't need. But nevertheless, I have a headlight to put on over there along with the lenses, and I will take you over there and show you. I think I've explained to you that it took a little ding right here, and it screwed up the two lenses, the two amber lenses over there. The headlight's okay, but the amber lenses are bad, and it broke the mount for the headlight. Under the hood, I've disconnected the air conditioner for right now because I'm going to try and figure out how to do the 134 conversion, or get my neighbor to help me. He's a refrigeration guy at White Sands Missile Range. Mike Canizero, a buddy of mine, he's worked for Ford Motor Company in the interior and trim department. He's been coming over and helping me try and get these factory accent stripes that were on here off. And I really won't go into it much. It was a fade stripe. But the clear part of getting the colored part of the stripe off was no problem with a rubber wheel. But where the clear part, the colored part was easy to get off. The clear part ate itself right into the paint. So that's going to all have to be wet sanded off of there. And I have some maroon colored striping that will go on there, that we're going to lay over there. We're going to go right down to the original paint, which is good. And we're going to put a stripe on there, and then we're going to put a black. We're going to leave some of that original red, and then we're going to put a black stripe at the very top where it meets the white. That's the game plan. We haven't got that far. We've got most of the striping off. As I've said in past videos, this thing is totally rust-free. There's not an ounce of rust on it. It does have some other issues, but that part of it is good. I'm going to eventually try and straighten the bumper. I fixed the spare tire carrier on the back, had a bend in it, got that all heated up and taken out. It all fits. The thing is extremely quiet inside the drive. I made all the adjustments I can make to the steering box and the steering wheel itself and the steering shaft to get slop out of there. I still have some slop in the steering. Next thing I'm going to do, well, not next thing, but one of the things I'm going to do down the road is take a look at the ball joints and the steering mechanism and all of that stuff. Let's walk over and just take a glance inside again real quick. Okay, before we go inside, I want to tell you I got two cheap mirrors from eBay. They work well. I just decided to replace both. This one was okay, but I decided to replace both. Dresses it up. I know the paint on this looks pretty bad, but it'll buff out. We've already tried to buff several spots. All the original paint is good. The hood will have to be painted because someone tried to paint it. The trim rings all are pretty good. I'm going to paint the wheels, paint the center caps, all that. Let's go inside and I'll explain to you what we got going on. And by the way, you may or may not be able to see it. I think you probably can. On the video, I've got some pretty serious scratching going on here. I think what I'm going to do is buff these windows and live with the deep scratches that are in there. Maybe at some point in time I'll spring for the glass. It's pretty inexpensive, and I definitely need the rubbers on the inside. Now, pardon me, on the inside and outside. Now let's go inside and take a look. Okay, inside here, you can maybe, if I lean over here, you can see the door panel. I've got the door panel off. I have a steam cleaner. I'm going to try and steam that while I have it off. I'm going to disconnect the switches here, try and clean the switch plate, get it all cleaned up before I put it back together here. I also have to lube the window track and the window mechanism. I also have somebody took the window tinting off of this vehicle. There's still a little bit along the bottom of the window I've got to get off before I start doing all the polishing and everything. I got some inexpensive floor mats off of eBay. Said they fit the Bronco II, but they're way too big. I'm going to try and beat them down, get them in place. As I said, the air conditioning doesn't work. I got a dash mat. It fits in here relatively nicely. The other thing that you may, let me bring you a little closer if I can. Let me see if I can get over here. If I can get over here, I bought one of these cheap $25 radios off of eBay. And lo and behold, it works pretty darn good. I'm very surprised. I can use my phone through it. Hooking it up was quite a disaster. What the tip that I'll give you there, which will be the longest tip that I'll probably give you today, is I have all kinds of color codes that I've downloaded from the internet. I haven't found one of them to be correct as far as the speaker wiring. Let's get this straight. This was not a premium system. It does not have, did never have an amplifier, a radio amplifier. The amplifiers, from what I understand, in the radios give out and they quit working, which was the case here. So I bought this cheap radio thinking, well, at least I'll have some tunes. It actually works really well. But what I had to do is I had to take every speaker out of this truck, look at the colors, which still didn't make any sense at the plug. 3 of the speakers made sense. 1 of them had totally different colors than it was at the speaker. Why that happens with Ford, I have no idea. But what I can tell you I had to do is I took a little piece of brass wire and I stuck it in the, I unplugged the speaker, stuck that in the speaker plug, which allowed me to use a little continuity tester. And I had each one of the wires was stripped to about 1/4 inch. I went to each one of the wires that I thought it was until I got continuity between 2 wires, and those were the wires I hooked up to that speaker, if that makes sense. Then I went to the next speaker and did the same thing. The radio wiring for the new radio was very straightforward. But anyway, I would not be afraid to buy one of these $25 radios. They're well worth the money. One of the things I got from the gentleman yesterday on the Ranger was a new turn signal switch over here. You can't see it. But the other one I had worked, but it was so sun-baked that it was literally brown instead of black. All the lettering was gone off it. I've put a steering wheel cover on here because the steering wheel was peeling, and I don't know how to fix that yet, if I ever do. I've had the dash off, cleaned the dash. I think I pointed that out before. All that stuff's been done. I need to clean this seat. I've cleaned this seat with steam. This seat turned out, I've talked about it, but it turned out nicely. I've worked on the floor. I think I told you there was a milkshake or something spilled in this seat, which had a big, huge stain. The back carpet was the same way. And I have since washed that and steamed that a little bit. It's still got some brown spots in it, but the milkshake is out and the carpet pile is back up, which I need to do to a lot of this in here. I haven't done a lot of cleaning on the inside of this thing yet. Those are things that I can do down the road. Let's see, what else have I done? Oh, I got the 4-wheel drive working. I know I tried to demonstrate that in a video that I was going to make, and I couldn't get it to function when I thought I had it functioning. I took the electronic motor off the transfer case down there, took it apart per a video I saw on YouTube, and rebuilt the whole thing. Did exactly what they did. Took a piece of poly tubing, cut it out, used that for the spacer that comes apart inside of them. Put it all back together, took the motor apart, cleaned the armature, brushes, everything. Put it all back on there, and lo and behold, 4-wheel drive works like a champ. You know, I put it in drive, push the 4x4, the 4x4 comes on, the hubs lock. You put it in neutral, push the low button, the low range button, low range comes on. Apologize for my throat. They're sweeping pecans this time of year, and my allergies are kicking up. But I cleaned all this housing here once I put the switch on. New door handle over there. I don't know, just a lot of different things. Cleaned a couple of the seat tracks. I don't know what else I can tell you. New wiper blades, got all that working. Lubricated just a lot of stuff. Told you already, I think, that I adjusted all the doors. All the doors were out of adjustment. None of them were shutting properly. They were rattling. The spare tire carrier was rattling. All that's gone. About the only thing I'm dealing with now is trying to figure out where my radiator leak is. I think I may have narrowed it down to the lower radiator hose where it rests on the frame. I think it has a pinhole leak in it there and just barely leaks because I see a residue there. I do occasionally get a whiff of antifreeze inside the cab here, but I cannot find any evidence of it leaking inside the cab. Of course, we know that means a heater core. Heater cores are relatively inexpensive. I'll work on that another day. Keep an eye on the fluid level. Other than that, I've cleaned up the engine. I won't bother to show you that today, I don't think. But cleaned it up the best I can. Used my pressure washer the other day too, by the way, to cut a lot of the dirt and grease and stuck on crap that was just on the transfer case and the bottom side of the engine and everything. I've gotten most of that cleaned off, not all of it. I'm going to have to work on that a little bit at a time. But it is coming off and it is cleaning up nicely. I don't know what I can tell you, what else I can tell you. If you all have anything that you want to know how I did something, post it in the comments and I'll try and do a little video on how I went about doing it, if that'll help you any. But for now, I think we're going to call this good on the Bronco until I have some more to show you. And as usual, thanks for watching.